talk about some things that the chapter is actually addressing. So monitor's off really quick. It's going to take me just a couple minutes. One thing I forgot to say was that in chapter 4, lesson 1, it also tells you that you can insert something called image placeholders. Okay? Image placeholders are, say, okay, so you don't have the image yet, but you know what the type of the image you're looking for. You just don't have it yet. So you could actually go to this common bar list arrow in the insert bar, and you can choose the second option, image placeholder. It's going to ask you what the name of the image is, and I'll say name test, and then alternate text for the placeholder, or you can say something more meaningful. This is going to be a picture of my dog. Okay? You can tell it the size, whatever the size is going to be. Maybe you don't know for sure, but you know it's going to be some sort of rectangle. And you click on OK. And once you do that, you have a placeholder in here. Because it has the right sizing handles, it also allows you to resize this. Okay, so you can say, okay, well, I want a picture kind of like this, 400 by 80 in here. And eventually, I'm going to get that or make that picture in Photoshop. So you could actually reserve this space in here to work the layout around that. That's one thing. Another thing that this thing does is to show you that you can actually use a piece of software called Adobe Bridge. Okay? Adobe Bridge is a software, an image management software that comes with Adobe Creative Suite. So if you go to File and you browse in Bridge, the third link here is going to open Bridge for you, Adobe Bridge. This is what Bridge looks like. Mine actually is screwed up a little bit. So I want to actually reset this thing here. Make it look a little more normal. Still not normal. Let me see here. Reset standard workspace. Okay, so when you first start Adobe Bridge, that's what it's going to look like. It's pretty familiar. On the left-hand side, you have a place where you can actually look up stuff. On this window here, you have a preview of thumbnail or whatever choice you have. What you've decided. You have a window panel here to see a greater version of the preview. So maybe you have a picture here and say, oh, boom. You also can have information, metadata panels. When was this image created? What's the file name? How was it created? What's the size? What kind of color scheme it uses? Who made it? If it was a picture that was taken with a digital camera, you can put all kinds of information. Who took this picture and stuff like that. This information is stored with the file, and therefore it's available for people that open that file with Dreamweaver. If I open a picture, this is a picture. It will give me information as far as, hey, somebody took this picture. They used a focal length of 55 millimeters. What lens did they use to take this? What was the aperture at that point? Whether they used or not flash, what was the distance, and blah, blah, blah. All kinds of, what camera did they use? Canon, EOS Rebel T3. What was the serial number of the camera? All this information, when you use a digital camera, is actually recorded on a JPEG file. Okay, whether you know it or not. So Adobe Bridge actually allows you to use that information, to display that information. But anyways, so say I have Bridge here open, and the cool thing about Dreamweaver is that because they are made by the same company, they have places like this that allow you to go from one piece of software to another seamlessly. So in Bridge, you will find some sort of file, and then you're going to choose the image. I'm going to choose this one. Oh, that's a movie, so I'm not going to put a movie there. So I'm going to click on this one. I'll go to File. And my file here is taking a little bit of time to show up. And it's going to choose Place. Place where? In all kinds of choices, but one of them happens to be Dreamweaver. These are all Adobe products. Click Place in Dreamweaver. Says here, outside the root folder, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to make a copy? Yes. It tells me to file save that stuff. I can choose the location to save that in. It's going to probably ask me for alternate text. And boom. Okay, so how is this? Whoa. And it's a very large picture because it's, taken with in high settings, resolution, and stuff like that. So the moral of the story is, what is the advantage of using Bridge? Well, Bridge gives you several preview options. I can actually resize my thumbnails. I can open JPEGs, but not only JPEGs, I can see movies. I can play movies.
I'm Dennis, and this is Luke and Landon. I had the idea to put in 2 notebooks and just fold one paper into the other. And once you do that, it makes so much friction to where you cannot pull it apart no matter how hard you try.
Now you see the subjects are attempting to respond.
And I cannot do it. I can also in Bridge open, let me see, PSD files. This file here, I can see the thumbnail. This is a Photoshop file. You see, Windows browser, the Windows, this is all on the desktop, by the way. If I went to the desktop and I chose thumbnails, the Photoshop file does not show. This is a Photoshop file. This is an InDesign file. None of these things actually open or give me a preview of it in the Windows Explorer window. But they do in Adobe Bridge. So I can actually look at it. I think I actually made an animated GIF. So I could open this GIF in a browser. And actually would allow me to